Well, the Dallas Symphony has just announced its new season, 2012-13, and I'd like to ask you a few questions about that during this conversation. One of the programs which jumps out at me, because it's a favorite of mine, I guess, and I was hoping you would do it. I've seen that you've been doing it elsewhere, Benjamin Britten's War Requiem.
Yeah.
And perhaps you could tell me why this piece is important to you and why you're bringing it to Dallas.
Well, I think first of all it's absolutely a choral masterpiece. A piece which I've been doing already for quite some years. I'm also very interested in to see how the chorus is going to take this, because this is again such a completely different piece than from any other piece actually we did the last 5 years. And the piece is a very important piece because we use 2 orchestras for this piece, of course, and I like to do it on
a chamber ensemble and the big orchestra.
Yes, a chamber orchestra, actually chamber orchestra, a little chamber orchestra, and the big ensemble, of course. And the original thing is that it has been done with 2 conductors, and I'm also going to do that. I'm not going to do it alone. I know that in these days where we are in now, some conductors do it alone. But I really think that it should be really 2 worlds. 2 worlds. And this, if you're going to combine that, you are switching from one to the other world, I think, and that is not, visually, you would see also, you would like to see also a different conductor there. Then we have the children chorus, of course, big part of it. And it's not been played quite so much here. And it's like with the St. Matthew Passion, there are masterpieces which people here in Dallas just don't know so well. And I was really surprised that a masterpiece like the St. Matthew or the Britten War Requiem are pieces which are first of all not being played. This piece, for instance, the Bach, is not being played for 52 years. Now, the Britten War Requiem, I don't know how long that is not being played, but I think it's at least between 12 and 15 years. So, or even longer. But I think it is important that we bring those pieces to Dallas, because you cannot repeat all the time the same pieces, and it makes your world as a listener too small to stick to Beethoven 9 and other pieces. Of course we do pieces which they like so much. Of course we do that, but to bring other pieces, it is very, very necessary that they understand that there are other pieces, although they are not being played much here, that they are masterpieces and they should come more back often. It is very interesting to see how the audience is going to pick this up.
And sadly, the message of the piece is as relevant as it was when it was written.
It's always relevant.
Yes. Yeah.
Horrors of War goes on and on. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like nobody can stop that. It is strange that over and over and over history is repeating itself.
But at least we can remind people that this is really not a path we would choose if we had a choice.
No, of course. But in a way we have a choice. But choices are sometimes made which we don't know what is the background. why things happened. And it's interesting to see that if you take the period in time where there was also a crisis in the world, a financial crisis, that and a huge war would come out of it. And a lot of people are talking about that only a huge war could bring us out of this crisis where we are right in now. So with other words, it would be a very good signal to give to the audience to say, look, you know, that is not the solution.
I know you have a great love of opera, and in your first season in Dallas, you were planning on doing a concert performance of Madame Butterfly.
Yes.
For financial reasons.
Not only that, not only for financial reasons, it was also because, let's say, next door, the opera, was doing also Butterfly.
Yeah.
And at that time, we did not see that actually fast enough. And I thought, out of respect for the opera, I think we did well to just to take it out and to have the opera, the Butterfly. And now we are doing Fidelio, but we are in very good contact with the opera, so we will not repeat any opera which is going on next door.
You're not in competition with them.
No,
you
not
try
at all.
to complement each other.
Absolutely, and you know, I think it is very important that our opera house is going to blossom in the future, and I think it's very nice because, look, let's be honest, we have a phenomenal building next door. It sounds fantastic. It is really, the house on itself is fantastic. Possibilities. It sounds great. It's brand new, wonderful seats. It's a big opera house, and now we have to make it work. It's very important. So no, I really want this opera house to be a huge success for Dallas. Absolutely.
Well, you mentioned Fidelio, which you're doing at the end of the current season.
Yeah.
And later in next season, you're doing some Wagner.
First act, Valkyrie, yes. And my beginning of being really involved with Wagner started actually 4 years ago. The first opera I did was Lohengrin, and it was such an incredible world where I stepped in that it is like an addiction. After Lohengrin I did the Meistersinger, and last year I did Parsifal. And I'm extremely happy that we are able to bring the Valkyrie first act. First of all, the fact that we are doing opera is not because just we think that there is not enough opera next door. I think it is very important to understand that to play opera for an orchestra is one of the most healthiest things. The flexibility for the players to follow, the flexibility to color in a voice makes an orchestra so much better. It is so important for an orchestra to really play well an opera, and it is so very important that an orchestra at least once a year plays a big opera, at least. 2 weeks ago we did Strauss and Schubert songs with Matthias Görner, who's a phenomenal singer, and again he took so many liberty on stage during the performances, and I told him, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel like doing in the concerts, do it. Because our orchestra and we need to be so flexible that you should drive a luxury sports car, and if you want to go left or you want to go right or you want to go faster or slower, just do whatever you want. And he did. And the orchestra responded phenomenally. And so this flexibility will stretch again our quality. And concerning Wagner, we did already quite some Wagner pieces, but now I think the orchestra is ready to start to have a relationship with the Wagner operas. So we are also planning actually some other Wagner operas in the future.
Perhaps Parsifal?
We are talking about Parsifal. I think that we are already booking some singers for that. So that I think that would be wonderful to do that.
Well, finally, let me ask you about your newest responsibility, not in Dallas, not in Holland, but in Hong Kong, of
Yes.
all places. How did this happen?
Well, I went to Hong Kong 2 times, and they asked me to be the new music director, and I said, well, look, you know, the problem is the amount of weeks is a little bit could be a problem for you, because I have already quite some engagements next to this orchestra. I'm very fortunate to have really a very nice relationship with some fantastic orchestras, and there are engagements there, and I cannot do so many weeks as you are probably expecting from me. And but they said, look, you know, we just want you to come and just tell us how many weeks you could do. And then, so I told them this is the limit I could do, and we are talking about starting from 6 to 8, 9 weeks per season. And then the other thing I asked actually is that if we would do it, then one of my big wishes is to do a ring cycle. And so so we are planning that now, actually.
For Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
They seem to be building concert halls and opera houses almost every month. It's amazing.
Well, in China, you mean?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
China, but
mainland.
including Hong Kong.
Okay, well, Hong Kong is
Yeah.
also planning now on the
Yeah.
West Kowloon.
Yeah.
The West Kowloon is, they're going to open a huge district of art, an art district. So it's including opera house, a fantastic new hall, but also museums. And so it's going to be a big thing, and I think they want to open it in 15, 16, but I'm not sure about that, but that could be the case. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So so no, it's very interesting, because under the baton of Edo de Waard, who really knows how to build a great orchestra, this orchestra really made some major steps, and they are sounding quite well at the moment. So it's really nice to go there.
And you're starting quite soon. Usually these appointments are made and then
you wait for
a couple of years
Yeah.
before the conductor has enough time
Yeah.
available to
Mm.
really settle in.
Yeah.
But you're starting later this year.
Yeah, well, but I have to admit, it's only 5 or 6 weeks that in next season, and then the season afterwards it's a little bit more, and then it is a little bit even more again. So because of the speedness they had, I could only do a few weeks.
Well, we wish you well with this new enterprise, but we hope that doesn't mean less time for Dallas.
Oh no, not at all. Absolutely not. No.
Because there's so many great things that are happening here because of you. Speaking for music lovers in Dallas, we hope that continues far into the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.